Hi, this is Cheryl back with you from Farmhouse Frugally, and today we are in day 6 of our 12 days of Christmas, all about snowmen. Also, stay tuned. The next 6 I think are even better than the first 6. I am starting with the easiest little snowman. I was at the good table at my dump and I found this false craft salt or pepper shaker by itself. I looked it up, the value's a couple of bucks, and there's a lot of them out there for sale, so I don't feel bad painting over this. These were popular in the 70s, 80s. So I am going to start by, of course, having to cover over the floral, but I also would like this to be more white, and this has a yellowy cream color to it. So I am going to give this 2 full coats of linen white chalk paint to start. I had a little bit of this sleeve left over from some pumpkins I had created last year and make a great hat and scarf. Before I do that, I want to go ahead and put a little face on him so I know just where that hat needs to be. So I just grabbed a Sharpie marker and added some eyes and a little mouth, and then I will add a nose later. Of course, he needs a couple of buttons, and then I went and just got a little orange, kind of like a paint marker, and added a little carrot nose. And I have done this on a wooden salt shaker before, so if you happen to have any salt shakers in your stash, these make really cute little gifts or something for your mantle or tabletop, or just a sweet little hostess gift. So that is all I did for the embellishments, and then the hat. To make the hat, I just made a tube out of that piece that was left, and then turned that right side out, and then put that onto the snowman and glued the sides, and then left enough so that I could add a string to pull that all together, and then I could take my scissors and cut like a little pom-pom. He is starting to look absolutely adorable already. Or maybe it's a she. That color's kind of a little bit feminine. Anyway, obviously she needs a scarf, so I just took another piece of that sweater and added a scarf around her neck. I glued that in place, and then I went out to my hydrangea bush out front and clipped 2 little branches that looked like snowman arms and added those. And oh my goodness, how adorable is this? I love it, love it, love it, especially with the silver. If you didn't see that tree, I made that out of those Jello molds or patty pans from the 60s. And I also got that hammered silver or hammered aluminum trays and bowls. I have 4 pieces I got for free at the good table at my dump. So I think that looks really adorable together. And before we go forward, let me tell you today's collaboration is hosted by both Brenda and Krista, and this is the 12 Days of Christmas. Today we are on day 6. Make sure you check out the first 5 if you haven't. I will link their channels as well as a playlist in my description box so you can check out all the other snowmen everyone else is making. Now, believe it or not, item number 2 is one of those little spaghetti measuring things. I cleaned it up good. It came from the good table at my dump, and when I looked at it, I saw Snowman. And I decided that I would take a little bit of that same green fabric that I had left over, make a sweet little hat, and also make a scarf, and keep this so simple. I'm not even going to glue it so that I can take it off after the holidays and use this wood item in my home decor for something else as time goes by. But I thought that this just came out really adorable. I promise the third one is quite a bit more complicated than these first 2, but I know sometimes people just like to do something simple, and I don't know if you happen to have one of these little things in your house, but I thought, why not? How cute is that? So that is my little wood snowman. So that is the first two and takes me on to item number 3. I stopped at the thrift store this week. I don't do that very often. I was with my sisters, and this little guy was 50 cents. It was usually $1, and I think it probably came from the dollar store. I'm not really sure. But it's a little wired snowman. And so my daughter happened to be getting rid of a sweater, and I decided that I would dress him in the sweater. So I started by just cutting out the rounds, the 2 rounds, and I did have to clip off his arms, and then I took off his hat, which I can add back later, but it was just a lot easier to just cover these and not have to worry about that. I was initially going to try to do it with the shape of the 8, and then I decided to cut the 2 circles in half and go ahead and flip the sweater inside out and glue the wrong sides together and flip it inside out so that I would have the pattern of the sweater on the snowman's front. I did the same thing for the second circle and had to cut the hat off. I mean, maybe if you had left a slit on the top of this, you could keep the hat on, slide it over, and then glue it. I probably should have done that, but I didn't, so I just went ahead and slid that. I took my wire cutters and cut that off, and then slid that second hole over the top. I glued those 2 sweater pieces together on both sides, and then I took out one of those sweaters that never fits right. It's all stretchy. I had started cutting it up last year for a different project, and I still had quite a bit of it left. So I decided to just use a piece of the sleeve, fold it over, and put the metal piece inside, and then glue that whole thing to the top where it was initially, and then just make sure that that was securely glued tight on all the way down. And I stretched it to fit the head of the snowman. And then I went into my stash and took some coordinating fabric, and I didn't have quite enough to make the scarf that I wanted, so I ended up cutting 2 pieces. So I just added the long piece underneath and then pulled a circle with a tail over it so that I would have the look of a scarf. Then I glued that all down, and I did tack that so that it would stay. And then the fun of embellishment begins. So I went into my stash of buttons to see what I had and other things so that I could go ahead and add a face and a little snowman button on his scarf and a little button on his front. And then I just took out a piece of felt for his nose, added a hanger in the back, and glued those 2 metal arms back on. I liked the direction of them facing inward rather than outward. I just glued those metal arms back on, and here he is. Oh my goodness, how cute is this? So I'm guessing you could get one of these frames at the dollar store or Michael's for $1 or $2 if you have any inclination to recreate this project. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed these, and let me know which was your favorite, the little salt shaker snowman, the little spaghetti measuring wooden thing snowman, or the wire snowman frame wreath. I'm thankful that you stopped by. I hope that you will check out the next 6 and enjoy these 12 days of Christmas with me. And don't forget to check out the playlist in the description box. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.